Apple just added $100 billion to its Made in America initiative, bringing its U.S. commitment to a staggering $600 billion. This investment means more chips, glass, and AI jobs are coming home. But is this a move towards supply chain sovereignty or just a margin squeeze? Stay tuned to see if AMP is a true transformation or just PR polish in disguise.
Gary, moving to thing number two, we're talking Apple. Another 100 billion coming from those guys up north from me here. Gary, thing number two, Apple continues to ramp up its U.S. investment with an additional 100 billion in manufacturing commitments. That gets their total, Gary, upwards of about 600 billion. What do we need to know for thing number two?
So, Rob, this is part of the AMP, that stands for American Manufacturing Program. It's going to expand Apple's supplier network across all 50 states, support 450,000 supplier and partner jobs, directly hire 20,000 employees, focus on R&D, silicon engineering, AI, software development. All sounds like great stuff. This is an additional $100 billion. One of the things that Cash and Crow, one of our interns, has been tracking, every time the White House announces a new infrastructure spending plan or big purchase agreements, he's been tracking that. If you take a look at the written version of the 5 things, you'll see he's updated the graph and the numbers are just enormous. But Apple had previously committed to $500 billion, $500 billion. This takes them to $600 billion. This initiative, by the way, also includes major partnerships. I got to read this one. Hold on. With Corning, Texas Instruments, Applied Materials, Samsung for chip packaging, GlobalWafers, and others. They're going to be producing components for the iPhone and Apple Watch in Kentucky. They're going to build domestic supply chains. And, one key thing as well, the Corning aspect of this, they're the ones that make Gorilla Glass. They're going to be manufacturing that in the United States. So when you have your scratch resistant panels, that's where that's coming from. It's great to see. And by the way, given China's proclivity to hide spyware and malware and electronics, we've been reporting on that, right? Just a week ago, we were talking about the Microsoft breach led by China. A couple of weeks before that, a couple of months before that, we were talking about them sabotaging the solar panel inverters. Given China's proclivity to do this kind of stuff, we're going to ask the question again, should we keep buying from them just for the lower initial price, or should we be considering the fact that doing business like this entails a lot of long-term costs?
Yeah, Gary, from a critic's standpoint, what would they actually be saying about this, right? Or let's play devil's advocate on the other side. I know in other areas where we've talked about investment numbers and obviously deal after deal you're hearing about flowing in. But how realistic are these deals, right? What actually gets done? Is there that much capacity? I know we talked, I think it was in the auto space, or how much actual demand is there, and whether or not this capacity can actually even be met based on what these deals are requiring. Is that where the critics are coming from here? Is it a different story with what they're saying about these moves that Apple's making?
I think the critics are coming at this from a different angle, and they've got a legitimate point. And let's explore their thinking on this. Now, for clarity, where you were talking, Rob, about the capacity issue, that was related to the energy purchases for the trade deal between the EU and the U.S. The deal was for something like $750 billion of energy expenditures across 3 years, $250 billion a year. People were saying, hey, I don't know that Europe has the capacity to buy all that. Okay. But is there demand in the United States for this much Apple product? Definitely. There absolutely is, especially if they move production out of China. They're also producing in India. They do some work in Vietnam, although not as much. So yeah, to onshore, there's definitely the demand for that. I think the criticism comes from two places. In one case, it's irrelevant. The other is worth watching. The thing I think is irrelevant is some people are saying, oh my God, these are not new commitments. Apple was going to do this anyway. Okay, great. I don't really care who gets credit. I care about the fact that they're going to build more than $500 billion worth of infrastructure in the US. And we're looking at something close to 500,000 jobs and more AI leadership. So Great. Fine. They were going to do this before. They weren't. It doesn't really matter. I don't care who gets credit. I just care that they do it. Now, the other place where the critics have a legitimate point is some people are saying, well, Apple doesn't really mean it. They're not really going to do it. They're saying these things in the White House to remain in President Trump's good graces. The idea is that by pleasing him on these issues, they will put themselves in a position where he'll give them favorable tariff treatment. He'll let them import without high tariffs for a while they're building this. And what they're saying, what the critics are saying, is Apple's not really going to build this. They're just managing the president, and they're going to play it out, hoping that in 2028 they'll get, they'll either get an establishment Republican or a Democrat who won't care about outsourcing and will just say, hey, it doesn't really matter. Do what you want. You don't really have to build this. And the truth is, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's in Tim Cook's head. I don't know what's in his heart. I think it's a valid concern. And I think the Trump administration and all Americans should be watching Apple and these other companies to see that they follow through on their public commitments. If they do, then we should applaud them, and the criticism wasn't valid. If they don't, then we should be saying, hey, look, you're talking in public about investing in the United States, but you're not doing it, and those companies should face consequences for that.
Yep. Yeah. Great points right there, Gary. I think it's if they commit and they follow through, great. Let's celebrate that. We'll keep eyes on them, how it plays out in the public view. This is this week's version of the 5 things to know in investing, the You're Fired issue. Thanks so much for watching. I think, Gary, we're live streaming on X, LinkedIn, Riverside FM platform as well. So we're starting to kind of figure it out, or this whole podcast streaming, live streaming networks, the Twitch guys, they got it all figured out. We're a little bit behind the times, but we'll get caught up. Head on over to deepknowledgeinvesting.com. You can sign up for a free subscription to be added to our newsletter, and you will also be receiving all of content material that gets posted to the website. Some of that content will be gated for premium subscribers. They get access to DKI portfolio positions, buys, sells, all of that information, as well as exclusive content and material. So head on over there, take a look at what we've got going on.